Hello everybody, how's it going? Superfiend here, and welcome back to Planet Coaster Whacky World. Alright, we are going to continue decorating this Lost Garden attraction area. And before we lay down any of the plants and foliage, what I want to do is just create a couple kind of ancient civilization benches somewhere where they would have sat while enjoying the Lost Garden. I think that would be a nice addition to have in here, and there's a few ways we might do that. First thing we gotta do, of course, we've got to edit the building. And let's see, do we want, is it the wall decorations? What am I looking for? I'm looking for the little concrete, these guys. Those are called queens. I don't really know how you say this. So let's see, and we could make benches out of these. Well, first let's see how big they are. And let's see, where's our guy? So if this were to lift out of the ground this tall, is that an appropriate height for a bench? Not really. I think it probably needs to be a little bit taller than that. But if we were to combine it with one of the floor pieces, then I think it might be tall enough. So what we'll do is we'll just go ahead and duplicate these two pieces, set them on top of each other. How big are those by themselves, by the way? Let's just go see. Okay, so those are like as high as his knees, and then with this thing, however you pronounce it, on top, it's about as high as his waist. So I think that's an appropriate height for a seat. So we're gonna do a 4-meter one. And let's see, we want to get this kind of, I don't know if I really want it to be, oh, that's weird. I don't know if I really want it to be poking out. I think what I want is more like this. Let's see. I want it to be just shy of poking out, just like that. And then we'll lift it so that they're just a little bit too high. And then raise it down. And we got to work towards the lowest common denominator, which is going to be this piece here and this piece on the end. So if we set it like that, I think that will work for what I'm trying to accomplish. And then we'll go ahead and set this here. We will pull another one out. The rotation point is pretty close to being in the middle. Rotate it 90 degrees. And we'll go ahead and slide again, just barely shy of poking out the edge, I think. And then we'll bring it all the way over here, probably to about there. And we will go ahead and do the same thing. All right, I think that looks pretty good, especially if we take the time to, well, we could, when we replace the chief beef, when we replace this chief beef sign with some water, we could then go ahead and duplicate those screens in here, and it could look like water in this little area behind the bench. Or we could take some plants and put the plants in there. In the meantime, we're just going to worry about selecting all of these, and we're going to duplicate. And we're going to bring them straight across like that. And then we're going to duplicate again. Duplicate again. I think we should have some over there. And we're going to have to move these. It's okay. We'll just stick these outside. And then we'll have to grab these again. And do we want to place them over here also? I don't think I want one here, but I think I will put one over here. Okay, that works. And let's see. So now that we kind of have an idea where the benches would have been, do we have room? It would be nice to kind of put them right here, but we're not going to be able to do that, I think, because of both the coaster tracks and the coaster supports. I think that is just going to be a little awkward to try to fit them in there. So I don't think we're going to be doing that. I think we'll just keep them around the edges, and the rest of it will be open as if it had been some sort of plaza that the visitors would kind of walk through and ponder the meaning of life and sit down and enjoy the scenery, the lush scenery and gardens. Okay, let's go ahead and let's do some overgrowth. I think to start with, we're going to use the Scaevola, if that's how you say that. I don't know. I'm not a botanist. And let's see. Oh, we got one of these guys got left behind. Let's go ahead and move you with your friends. You can sit over there. Go ahead and move this. And so what do we want to do? We want to just kind of start scattering these about. And actually, it's going to work better if we come in here and we select it this way. This way, after we place it down, it will stay under the cursor and we can place the next one. Okay. And rather haphazardly, to maneuver around these tracks here, the control key works well, so does the advanced move. And again, doesn't have to be anything super organized. Doesn't even really have to make sense. And we'll just kind of scatter some of these around. Rotate them every now and then. Okay. And let's see. Go ahead and get some over here. And I think it would also be nice, although I don't know exactly how they would have ended up in here, but I think it'd be nice to kind of just put some big rocks in here. And so as we plop these things around, do them in kind of like clumps of 3 and 4. If you want one to be a really big clump, do like 5 of them. Okay, and let's see, do we want to go ahead and put one kind of in here? I guess we do. Now, some of these are going to poke out the back, and that's going to be okay because we are going to, where that happens, either lift the terrain, and the terrain will hide it, or we'll put a piece of scenery on it. So we're going to cover those mistakes up as we decorate more of this, the outside area of this building, which is going to be visible from the walkways and from other stuff. All right. Well, let's see. Oops. Okay, I think that's kind of looking neat. We're going to need to add a little bit of stuff in here. You know, this can't all be overgrown, and then these things are just absolutely not covered in some sort of growth. So let's go ahead and let's just duplicate. And in this case, it's actually kind of nice to take advantage of the different textures or the different angles of the fountain. So like down here, it kind of tilts that way. This appears to be all flat, but so you can kind of take advantage of those. See, like if we set it here, then it kind of climbs up through there. But if we set it this way, I guess that works okay. And let's see. This would be a good spot to kind of set one here. And we'll hit the M key for move. So that's X to get the advanced move, and then there's another one there that we can use, and we just hit M to go back to regular move. I did not like where that one ended up. Let's put it there, and then the next one can be regular move. And we're going to go ahead and hit X, bring it out this way, kind of tilt it like that. Okay, and let's see. Grab another one of these. And let's see. Okay. And if we could rotate one about like 45 or 30 degrees, just kind of get it like that. Okay, so we got a little bit of vegetation there on the fountain stuff. And I said I wanted to add some rocks, so let's add some rocks. Now, personally, whenever I think of like Lost Civilization, tropical region, I always come back to, where are they, the rocks? I don't really like the alpine rocks. That's a small one. We need a large rock. I don't really like the alpine rocks for them, although I guess I do kind of like this one, okay? I almost always come back to the deciduous rocks. I really like the color on them, and then my favorites are always the tropical rocks. Look at that. That looks just like what you'd find in like an Aztec temple, at least to me. I mean, so let's just plop a couple of these down. Doesn't have to make sense where these end up. Let's see, let's raise this guy. Yeah, this place hasn't been maintained for quite some time. And the nice thing about the rocks is even just putting one rock and then the same exact rock, and you just give it a little bit of a rotation, and they just go very well together, even without switching out the rocks. Now, I said I like to use the deciduous rocks. I like the color on those, so we'll throw some of that in to vary it up. You know, get a rock in here. I'm not going to really bother sinking them to the ground that much. Do I like the grasslands rocks? I don't think I've ever used them. Yeah, see, I just don't see them being in this kind of environment or region. Let's see. We want one that's a little bit smaller. We got a good small one. Even the small one's kind of big. Let's lower this down. And I guess if we wanted to make life easier, we would go to scenery, not scenery theme. Nope, nature region, and we would pick tropical and deciduous, and there's a nice selection of rocks. Okay, let's see. And again, I don't know, well, that's way too big. I don't think that should be in here, but yeah, I think it's too big. That one's kind of too big. That one's humongous. Okay, this is quote unquote small. I think that's more the size we're looking for. Put a couple of those in. Don't even have to rotate them. And then this is quote unquote large, but not quite as large as those other ones. And let's see, where would we maybe stick this? Just put it right over there. And let's see. It'd be kind of nice to make it look like the pillars fell there. Kind of get this one on the other side. And now I actually do just kind of want a small rock. And let's see here. Yes, we'll just do that. Another small rock. No one's ever going to see that rock, but I'm going to put it there anyways. And let's see. Now, one of the other things I think would be fun is, again, I mentioned that this path is just a separator between parts of the park, and so there's going to be some stuff over here. Probably not very much, just like a couple coasters, maybe, and some food stuff. And I want the guests to be able to walk from this area over to this area, so there's probably going to be a pathway that comes through here. So let's go ahead and let's open this up so that as they walk through this pathway, they can get a glimpse of the gardens that are in here and the coaster. And actually, maybe what I want to do is not quite that. Okay, this is kind of tricky. How can we do this and make it look good? What we can do... Okay, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to duplicate those wall pieces, and I'm going to rotate them. Okay. And I'm going to break them off from the building, so that's now a new building. Let's go back over to this building. And I'm going to go ahead and like pop that out, pop this out, and pop that out. Now, let's leave that building. Let's go over to this building, and let's see if I can do this. I don't know if this is going to work. We're going to edit this building. And we need to rotate it. No. Okay. What would work the best way? I know exactly. Okay, I know what I want to do. I just don't know how to do this. Okay, so I'm going to set these up so that they're pretty much flush. And we'll bring it over here. And so what I'm trying to do is kind of make it look like I don't want this to be so like perfectly square is what I don't want. So let's see if I duplicate those and lift them up. Okay, gotta think about this. So what happens if we just break it down to one square? Okay, let's just do it that way. So if we bring it over here and sink it in, okay, now it almost lines up pretty good. We lift it up. What's it look like on this side? Can we tell? Not really. Can't really tell. Okay, so we could do this. And then, let's see, I want to leave the building. And I want to do a Control X. That gets us a new building. Okay. A new building. Kind of move this one over like this. Control X gets us a new building. And so let's see, maybe move it in a little bit. Okay. Control X. Control X. Yeah, see, okay, that's kind of what I'm going for. Now, I can't select multiple buildings at once, so let's just do Control X. And what we'll do is, let's see. Kind of do that. Control X. And we'll just have to remember throughout the series that there's like 37 buildings over here. Each one's a piece. Okay. So, you know, kind of something like that. Although, you know, looking at it now, I kind of want it to be a little bit bigger going this way. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to go to this building. We're going to edit. And I'm going to knock away those two pieces. We're going to leave the edit mode. I'm going to pick this one. Okay. Control X that. Okay, and then let's see. Just kind of move this one over. Move this one over. Move this one over, lift it up. Maybe not quite as much. And see, that looks kind of better. So as the people, the guests, as they walk through here, they'll kind of get a little glimpse into that neat little area. And then, of course, little imperfections and things here. We can kind of raise the terrain, and we can put some foliage around here, put a couple trees. So it'll kind of like be looking through this narrow, I don't know what you call it, periscope of foliage or something. And I think it'll look kind of cool. All right, let's go back into this building now. And let's see, edit. I'm going to Control X those and duplicate them and bring them down. And I think this one in particular is going to go bye-bye. And this one, we're just going to kind of move it over this way a little bit. Okay, I think that works. And now I'm back over decorating the pillars again, which I said I wasn't going to do this episode. And it's just so easy. It's so easy to see those things and be like, oh, I could do something with it. I could make it better. I could make it neat. And what do we want to do? Do we need some more rocks? I think over here, I think this is kind of why I started making this hole in the wall. I want to put rocks. So we kind of want to cover this up. Let's see. So what's a good way? I think I would prefer this rock lying this way. Okay, and okay, so let's see. So we're just going to kind of use the rock to cover up the imperfections, and it'll kind of cover it up from both sides. Make it look like that rock fell on it, and the rock is responsible partly for the damage. Okay, and let's see, another good rock here. And this little guy, he'd be good underneath there. And let's see, kind of big. All right, so as we do this, let's see what we end up with. And what are we colliding with on the other side? It's okay. Who cares? And let's see. Now we just covered up this one, so let's get rid of him. And too big. It's only these two that are really kind of small. Okay, so that kind of looks neat. And if we can make it so that nothing's selected, it'll look even better. And we kind of want to do the same thing on the other side. So let's see. We'll put one of these. We're not going to put Gargantua. Let's see. Rotate this one mostly kind of flat. And let's see. I mean, how does this look? Kind of do that. Kind of hard to judge with these things floating in front of my face. And let's see. So I like how that one ended up, but I don't like the way it was moving towards me. Okay, I think that works pretty good. And then what we'll do is we'll use the terraforming to kind of clean up around the edges of the building, and we'll throw some trees and things, and we'll put some bushes and ivory. Probably not ivory where the edges are sharp. We'll probably use these scavola, whatever it is. Let's just see how it would look, right? So we got this, and we, kind of set one here. These can kind of come down. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Camera's going bonkers. Oh, because it added that to that building. Okay, we just jumped into a different building grid. Well, it's going to want to do that no matter what when I click over here. So I guess we're just stuck with that. That's fine. Okay, let's see. Okay, and then what we could do is we could take, not these ones, but let's just try one of the box planners, right? So let's say we took one of these, and initially what I don't like is the fact that it's like so perfectly square. So I don't think I want to use that. What else do we got? The round might be a little bit more interesting. Okay, let's think about this for a sec. And then, would this work? I don't think either of those would look really good poking out of those bushes. So I'm going to try it. Let's try it with just the little guy here. Let's just see what it looks like, right? So what I'm going to do is we're going to add him to that building. And let's see, we want to move you. And we want to rotate you this way. And let's see, I don't know, maybe just rotate you that way. Looks like we could use one more rotation like this and get it out to about here, because these things have some, height on them. And let's see, Control X. We go to about there. And maybe let's just see what we end up with. There may be just no way to make this kind of look natural with the square. So if we were to select all of these. Now what's this? Why would it put the movement axis way the heck out here? Okay. So let's see, what do we get? We need to sink them in a little bit. Yeah, that's going to be too many pieces for very little overall effect, I think. I'm just not feeling that. Not every idea is a good idea, so try to keep that in mind. Let's go ahead, let's try one of these ones. This might actually work a little bit better, except I would prefer it standing upright. So we'll line it up with the floor and then use V. Come on, we can do it. And then I want to do X. And I guess we want to rotate it this way once, because I want to flip it around upside down. Now see, this I think kind of works better, except it's growing in the opposite direction of gravity. These things should be hanging down. So if we just slide one of these in here and then kind of pull it out a little bit, what do we end up with? You know, that actually kind of looks okay. I'm going to undo it for now. You know, I'm just kind of playing around with ideas. See, you know, what's going to work and what's not going to work. I think for now it's kind of okay. I want to get some of the colored bushes in here. So let's just go ahead and grab the red leafy bush. I think we're going to go ahead and just put a few of these in here in a couple spots. They tend to look kind of nice. And we'll sink them down a little bit. We'll kind of tuck one in here and get one down there on the floor. Maybe back in the corner here. Coaster track's in the way. Alright, and then maybe we'll put a couple under here. Tuck one up there. And, you know, again, what we're thinking about when we do this is like empty space. You know, we want to fill the empty space and make things look interesting. And kind of every once in a while, you know, you zoom way back and you look at it and you see like, where is it most empty? And you still do want to leave some empty space, but you just kind of want to fill things in and add detail. And really kind of the more detail you add, like when people look at things, if they see a lot of detail somewhere, they focus their eyes on it, and then it detracts from other things that just may not look as good. Now, if you go over everything with a fine-tooth comb, that's a different story. That's what your art teacher would do. Let's see. And so we'll go ahead and put that in there like that. I think we could have one kind of back in the corner. Maybe get a little bit of growth in here, but maybe not quite as tall. And, you know, where there's one, why not two? And we'll kind of fill that in. And so now, as we start to fill up what's left of the space, we kind of want to be careful not to cover up certain things that we've already done. Like, let's see. You know, we don't want to cover up the ivory here, but at the same time, we can't really see it that well. So if we tilt it like that, see, this is kind of interesting. If we tilt it back, the ivory wouldn't actually grow that way. But as you're cruising by and you look down, you know, you don't really see that it's tilted at an angle that it wouldn't really grow. You just kind of see, look, there's growth. Okay. And what are we missing? Let's get some of the lilies. And let's see, how do these end up looking? Alright, so at which point is it in the water and at which point is it not in the water? I think right about like that. Okay, now where's this one at? Okay. Apparently that one just wants to sit way above. Okay, so that one's kind of in the wrong spot. And we'll duplicate. Why would there be lilies up top? I don't know. We're doing it. Doesn't make sense, but we're doing it. And let's see. Okay, so we can just kind of make out when it goes through the water if we get down close enough. This one, a little bit harder. Okay. And where else could we use a lily? I think we could use a lily over here. And which lily do we even have? Okay, now let's get the one that's got the flowers. And let's just put a couple of these. I don't want to overdo it. The scenery is getting pretty heavy in here. So that's about right. Okay, and one more over here. All right, look at that. That is a nice little area. I do like it. And let's see, what else would we do to this building? The episode's getting a little long, so I do kind of want to finish it off. And I don't know if I'm going to go back in and decorate it anymore. At the end of the last episode, I thought I might go through and decorate these pillars some more, but, you know, looking at the overall effect, it's kind of, you know, about what I wanted, and we were able to leave a lot of the pillars untouched. There were a lot of pillars that we didn't even need to add anything to, and we can always go back and add stuff to it later. I think it looks pretty passable as it is, and the only other thing I'm thinking is what kind of roof would we put on this thing? I think that this garden, I think this would be an open air building, but that it might have some sort of roof going around the top, some sort of trim. I don't know what it would look like. I'll have to play with that and see if I like any of the ideas that I come up with. This area, I think I want to put some more stuff in here. We might want to extend some of this growth into this area, so maybe I'll do that off air. And then when we come back, I think I want to put a roof on this. I want to join these up right here. I want to get these gaps filled in. And what else do we want to do in this building? A long time ago, a couple episodes now, I think I talked about how these arches are just kind of floating there, and it looks really unnatural, but I bet you haven't noticed for quite some time. So we might even just ignore those and leave those how they are. As we end the episode, let's take one more ride on this little thing and just see what it looks like as we come through it. And we'll speed it up. And so we'll see what the ride's going to look like. And maybe we want to do the orbit cam, and we'll just leave it with these. We'll do the seat. Okay, so look at this. Really neat. The pillars are still a little close to the track. And I could just imagine that if there was a little bit of a trim around the top, but it was an open air garden, and then maybe there were some trees and stuff from the rest of the scenery outside, that it would look really neat. So that's going to be it for this episode. Thank you for watching. Tune in for the next one, and have yourself a great afternoon.